Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for over 5 years, you are listening to the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 218 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. I'm your host Tracy, and with me this evening we have Lee.
Hello everyone.
And we have Hunter.
Hey everybody. I'm actually on a full show this week.
Yay!
But
once again we don't have Darren. He has got a lot on his plate at the moment.
yes.
And he'll be back soon. He just needs to sort a few things out.
And when Horror Nights, Halloween, when Halloween Horror Nights are finished, I'm sure he'll be back to normal.
Yes.
He's been very busy producing
Codmond? What's Codmond?
Content
sounds a bit fishy
for the
to
Dead
me.
Man's Digest. I'm not even going to laugh at that.
Everybody else is laughing, don't you?
Hunter's not.
It. Hunter's dead to me.
Oh.
I think Hunter might have disappeared.
Four. Okay.
I'm feeling harsh today.
Get on with it.
Still running on the rum fumes, huh?
Oh, yes.
That's from last week.
Enjoying the rum.
Where's all the rum gone?
In my tum. So it's just...
I told you it was going to go off the rails.
Already. There you go, Todd. You said you wanted to hear it derailed. Already. Right. We're going to spend the first third of this show discussing our thoughts on what Universal Orlando may be doing with their third gate.
Go on then, what do you reckon they're going to do?
Open it.
It's funny, because I follow a lot of the creative team on Facebook and stuff. A lot of them have been out in Europe recently looking at castles.
Ooh.
Isn't that interesting? Hunter, why do you think the Universal creative team will be looking at castles?
You know, I don't even know, because I don't think they'll ever do a better castle than Hogwarts Castle, which is, despite my Disney leaning, is my favorite castle in the Orlando area. Probably the entire world, and I've been to real castles.
Ooh.
Magic
Castle doesn't count.
White
okay,
Castle.
hear me out.
Oh, hey, I should be on rum more off.
So hear me out. What if the idea is for a big castle, and it's Count Dracula's castle?
Ooh.
And it's kind of like my idea that I had previous of a great movie ride style attraction,
Ooh.
but with the classic Universal monsters.
That would be cool.
That also ties into, do you remember what Forbidden Journey was originally concept as?
Van Helsing.
That's correct. Which was set in a castle, which would also have, the Universal monsters, maybe a little bit of an updated version of that. I think Universal understands their heritage and they appreciate that. So, that's very wishful thinking on my part, but Count Dracula's castle, that'd be pretty cool. And that'd be a pretty cool icon for them to put into a new park.
Mm.
It's weird because it's such a... You have no idea what they could possibly come up with for a third, like what they would think. Would they do? Because I know we discussed it a long time ago briefly, that we thought potentially a third gate at Universal would be their answer to the Magic Kingdom. But I don't... Being where they're going to put it, it's a strange one.
Mm.
I think Universal is comfortable enough in their own skin to not worry about making a direct competitor to the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
I think the worst thing they could do, honestly, is open up a third gate and make it exclusively for younger children or families. Because when you book a Universal vacation, typically it is an older audience, teenagers or slightly older kids that want the more thrilling experiences. But if they want that classic, as much as I love Universal, they're never going to have the classic appeal that something like Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion is going to have. So people are going to continue to go there. Why wouldn't Universal do something different?
Mm. I mean, there's still a lot of sort of up in the air about what they're going to do with Nintendo, and a lot of people who sort of stick close to the rumors still believe it's going to go into Kid Zone, but I don't know whether they would leave it for a little bit and do...
If they're actively focusing on a third gate, I would much rather them build a custom land for Nintendo than try to shove it into the back corner that is Kid Zone.
Yeah.
Especially with how much finagling that land goes through every year for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah. I mean, I think the DreamWorks acquisition's got to play into it as well.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree Nintendo is the biggest acquisition that Universal has done. Period, I would argue.
I don't
Maybe
know.
not monetary wise, but I would definitely argue that Mario is going to be infinitely more popular and successful than another Shrek attraction.
Yeah. We saw the trailer for Trolls at the weekend, and it has a couple of funny moments, but overall it looks terrible.
I hated Trolls first time.
It's a unique animation style. I mean, I'm not looking forward to seeing it, but it looks nice.
What's Storks? Is that DreamWorks?
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Oh, is it?
Warner. Oh, I thought it was DreamWorks.
I think it's being released by the same people who did the Lego movie.
Oh, yes, it is. You're right. I mean, let's talk. They're obviously, it's going to be IP heavy. That's what Universal. In fact, that's what Disney and Universal are all doing now.
How to Train Your Dragon as well.
Yeah. What IPs could we see going into a third gate? This is like, let's really go far out. What is there now that would make a well-themed land in a theme park?
I think there's a lot of untapped potential, especially in video games, because that is, obviously one of the biggest, most popular mediums of any sort of entertainment now. I remember messaging you guys the other day, but Universal is actively working on a Gears of War picture, which is a massive franchise. I could easily see them doing a Gears of War style attraction. Now, what that is, I don't know. Personally, I see it like a shoot 'em up attraction.
Possibly.
But I think, especially when it comes to video games, there's a lot of untapped potential there. I know Darren and I have clamored for years about a BioShock attraction. I'm not sure it's not as popular as something like Gears of War, but I think at the same time that maybe they don't want to get too video game centric, but I think you could do Nintendo and a more mature video game franchise at the same time.
I think what you've got to look at is something that lends itself to an area rather than an attraction. We've talked about it before, that the days have gone of just plonking a ride in the middle of nowhere. I think Transformers is probably the last one you've seen of that. It's now all about creating a highly themed area with a highly themed attraction in it. The obvious one is The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But until someone dies or has a very, very huge change of heart, that's not going to happen, which is such a shame.
But the example I'm going to use against you, well, not really against you, but just to bring it up, is Reign of Kong. So Reign of Kong, that quote-unquote land is the attraction itself.
Yes.
There's a food stand and there's a souvenir cart. I think lands don't have to be massive segments like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but I do think people are looking for more themed experiences. Now, Nintendo, I see them giving an entire land to, almost like a fantasy land, towards the back of the park or wherever. But say, for instance, like Gears of War, like we were just talking about, they could do the Reign of Kong type thing with maybe not a food stand, but a souvenir shop and some restrooms and whatever else.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big elaborate land, I think, for most people.
I think the difference is, though, with Kong, you're comparing something that's been shoehorned into a small expansion plot, whereas the third gate's going to be from scratch.
Yeah.
Come on, Tracy, you're quiet. What franchise or sort of IP would you like to see go into a third gate?
Well, I'm going back to Horror Nights last year, and Hunter's already touched on classic monster movies. It would be great to see a throwback land that introduces all these amazing origin movies, if you like, to a younger generation. There's some absolute gems out there that, because it's in black and white, our kids all go, I'm not watching that. Oh, to have Dracula and Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all of these in one area would be absolutely awesome. You know, and I loved that Scare Zone was one of my favourites, where it went from black and white to colour and all of that. And do you know what? I think they could really run with that.
Yeah,
you know, have them so you go from the black and white and go through all the incarnations and bring it to present time.
Because you're going to have that present time because they're rebooting them all now. Is it next year, Hunter, that the Tom Cruise Mummy film comes out?
Ugh.
I believe so, and I think it's actually going to turn out to be pretty good. Dracula Untold was kind of hit or miss, but I think the Mummy film's going to be pretty good.
That was the one with him out, the Hobbit. You know, what's he called? Williams. Is he Williams? You know, the one who was the fisherman in the third Hobbit? The Welsh guy.
Do you know, they could have a cinema, and because these movies are all under an hour as a rule,
Luke Evans.
they could have
What movie? All right, those the original ones.
originals.
Luke Evans, there you go.
Have the movies playing.
Yeah.
You know, have little drive-in areas.
Hunter,
I suppose that's a bit sci-fi diner, though, isn't it?
Real quick, I honestly think with a third gate, they're going to get... I don't know if they're going to get more away from movies, but I think we're going to see pretty much all the movie stuff stay in Universal Studios, and they're going to go a slightly different direction, minus DreamWorks with the third gate. I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know if I see them doing another original land like they did with, say, Port of Entry. It's very interesting. There's a lot of different avenues that they could take.
There is.
What about if it didn't become a park per se, but it became something like a hands-on experience? So you could go and learn what it's like to be a scare actor, learn what it's like to go and produce props and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just something different.
It's not what people want, though, is it?
It's what I want. I'd love stuff like that.
Hunter, that area where down by the convention centre, is there any residential areas down there, do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it's predominantly tourist area. I mean, it's a massive plot of land and everything out there, but I don't know too much about residencies or anything like that out there.
So potentially you're going to be in an area where they can do a proper nighttime show then?
Yeah.
I think...
I kind of, with this, to be perfectly honest, I kind of want a third gate to be their version of Animal Kingdom. And I'm not talking about actually making a copy of Animal Kingdom. I just want them to do something completely out of the box.
Yeah.
Where Orlando is the only place that you can find that, and for them to branch more out of their comfort zone. And I think Reign of Kong, you know, for the faults that attraction has for being another 3D attraction, it really proved to me that Universal's not afraid to play with older properties that maybe aren't as popular, or just really go all out with thematic detail.
Go on, Trace. What?
I have it. Westworld.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh, it's right in pop culture at the moment.
I want a real Jurassic Park. Yeah. If we can do that.
I don't think you do. Have you seen those films, Hunter?
Yeah.
No one ever comes out of it alive.
Yes, I sat the family down.
There was 4 of them.
Yeah. Yes, I sat the family down to watch the original movie.
So let me ask you two an interesting question.
Westworld,
then.
yeah.
Yes.
Would you rather see them open a third gate, or would you rather see them completely overhaul Islands of Adventure? Because honestly, I'm in the latter camp. I would rather see them fix up Islands of Adventure first.
It depends by overhaul. What do you mean?
It desperately needs some work. I wrote an article for our blog last year when we came home that I felt Islands of Adventure was a theme park that Universal had very much forgotten about. When we went, the Hulk was down, Kong wasn't open.
It was a bit tired and neglected,
It felt
wasn't it?
very flat. And Islands of Adventure has always been my favourite theme park in Orlando. So personally, I'd agree with you, Hunter. I'd rather they put that money into that. If it was one or the other, if it was a case of, right, we either open this, they're actually going to call it a 4th gate because the 3rd gate's the water park, but yeah, or bring Islands of Adventure up to the standards that we've set with Universal Studios Florida, I would take the second one.
Yeah, I just think there's so much potential, especially in all the land they've got for Toon Lagoon. I think we're all in agreement there that land needs a massive overhaul.
Yeah. They need to do something with Lost Continent. That's kind of at the point where it's irrelevant now.
Jurassic Park, I mean, you had one of the biggest movies of last year, and they did absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah. But then I did hear after that came out, because I know they bought a lot of the copyrights to use Indominus Rex and something else, I think, in there. But there's been massive rumours going around for a while now that they have been working on a gyrosphere attraction.
Ooh.
Now, whether that'll go into... Because I know from listening to, I'll give him a plug, Brad on the Jurassic Park podcast, that is going to be a trilogy, Jurassic World and then whatever they call it, 2 and 3. So potentially that could go in there. But I mean, they haven't even announced there's going to be a theme park down there yet.
Yeah, I just think... So say, for instance, Disney, when Pirates of the Caribbean became this big movie franchise, they did go back and they refreshed that attraction and they added, what people wanted to see. Why couldn't they do that with River Adventure already? Why couldn't they, I'm not saying replace the T-Rex, but why not have the Indominus Rex in there at some point? I just think there's so much potential where I don't know if it's... I don't understand the financials of it. I'm not going to claim that I do, but to me, it seems like it would be cheaper for them to fix up and add things to these new attractions to plus these old attractions than completely open up a third gate.
Yeah.
Which means that possibly that Islands of Adventure is not going to get touched for another 10 years.
No. But I think if you look at it from Universal's point of view, they are wanting to compete with Disney. And what they're trying to do is make people commit more and more days to spending at Universal. So they open, at the moment, it's arguably a 2 or 3 day visit. You add in a water park, it then becomes a 3 or 4 day visit. You add in another theme park down the road, it then becomes a 4 or 5, maybe even 6 day visit. It's trying to give people a reason to spend more time there than down on Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of people do you think are coming to Universal just for Potter?
Oh, a lot.
Because let's just say that's 50% of the people coming through the gates. A lot of those people, I'm not sure that even if you add more stuff, if they are just coming for Harry Potter, the Universal Orlando Resort is a one-day thing. It's Hogsmeade and it's Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they really appealing to?
Yeah.
But then, are we going to see Fantastic Beasts in the third gate?
I kind of hope not, because I think they're putting all their eggs in one basket.
But then if you're saying that
all
50% of their guests are coming...
Toad really sang with that one.
If you're saying
I'll drink rum every week.
That 50% of their guests are coming in because of Potter, then you're giving that 50% a reason to go down to the third gate as well. Fourth gate, whatever you want to call it.
Can I just come in from a different viewpoint?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about islands getting overhauled. From a fiscal point of view, it makes more sense to have a third gate up and running so islands could possibly be closed down.
What a good point.
To do it faster.
Yeah, what a really good idea.
And they still have 2 gates open.
That makes perfect sense, because you've got to think, Hunter, then to put it into perspective, like into a Disney perspective, it's the reason why they haven't closed Expedition Everest down at Animal Kingdom, because they haven't got enough attractions in that park to spread people out. So once Avatar opens, then you'll probably find that's when they'll refurb Expedition Everest. So yeah, in a similar vein,
like it makes good business sense.
Especially they'll be watching what's going on down the road and what they're doing with Hollywood Studios at the moment, where 80% of that park's closed.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying there, but for instance, I guess to the same point, Toon Lagoon is 2 water attractions.
Yeah.
Why you could totally just shut that land down towards the colder season.
Yeah.
Say shut it down from I don't know, August to June of next year, and not too many people are going to bat an eyelid at it. It's a little bit different with Expedition Everest, which is a year-round attraction, and arguably the only current e-ticket attraction minus Kilimanjaro Safaris in that park.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying about diverting traffic, and Universal could definitely use. I mean, their parks are a little bit smaller, so they could use the dispersion of people a little bit, definitely.
Yeah, no, that makes an awful lot of sense. Yeah.
See, rum makes me funny and clever.
Cool. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Different topic, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
But we're all speculating about nothing. We have no idea. Like I say, they haven't even announced that area is going to be a theme park yet. In fact, have they actually announced that they've bought it? Has it been officially said that they've bought that land?
Nope.
I have no idea. I think they might have done.
They might be turning it into a butterfly sanctuary for all we know.
Well, I hope not.
You don't know. Well, if you want to speculate yourself and keep an eye on the construction of Universal Orlando's third gate, then you'll need to book a trip to Orlando. And of course, you will visit Universal Orlando while you're there, otherwise we will fall out. And our friends can take the hassle out of it for you.
Fairy Godmother Travel can take care of all of your Universal Orlando vacation needs at no extra cost to you.
And of course, if you are planning on joining Hunter at Disney, then they can also help with that too, as they are authorized Disney vacation planners, and Darren and Nina, actually.
Well, they're authorised Disney vacation planners.
They go to Disney with Hunter.
Yeah. So, yes, you can contact Fairy Godmother Travel today by phone on 832-284-4002 or toll free 888-939-642539. Or you can go to I know you don't need that bit, fairygodmothertravel.com.
And please let them know that you heard about them because of the UUOP. Every referral made through us helps us continue to bring you the best weekly Universal Orlando podcast.
Yes, they do. All right, the next two sections are going to be a bit of a break from the usual mould. Now, firstly, we are going to discuss what we're going to spend the Halloween season doing, crying because we're not in Orlando. And that is outside of the Universal Orlando Resort, of course. So,
Hunter, what's your plans for Halloween this year that don't involve going to Halloween Horror Nights? Now you finally...
Honestly, right now, that's kind of about it.
Are you planning on going any more nights? Because you've been twice now, haven't you?
Yeah, I'll be going on this upcoming week or this week, and then I'll be going with our good friend Andy next week, 2 weeks from now.
Awesome.
Either way, at the end of October. So we're planning on going, I think we'll do 5 nights by the end of the event.
So he's gone from never ever touching it to going one night last year to now I'm doing 5 nights.
And he's going to be there every night next year.
So
look at it this way. I could have gone another night, but then I would have saw half the stuff again. I have pretty much done everything there now.
And
plus, the pass is just a really good value, honestly.
Yeah.
And I especially love Universal at night, and it's one of the only times that you really get to see it at night, unfortunately, because otherwise the parks close super early. So it's just nice to revisit the parks that, we know and love so much, just under a completely different
it does, it transforms
circumstance.
By night, doesn't it?
It does. Well, not just at night, but during Horror Nights, it's a completely different park. Yeah. Hunter, have you ever... I know Darren and Nina went down and did it the other week because they interviewed the guy on the Dead Man's Digest, but have you ever thought about going down and doing Shallow Grave?
I think with someone who is really just getting into the haunts and everything like that, it sounds a little much for me right now. So let's give it another year. Maybe next year I'll check out Hallow Scream and then I'll upgrade to Shallow Grave. We'll see what happens.
Have you watched any Halloween films yet? Have you started your sort of ramp up to Halloween watching any movies?
Yes, I have been participating in the Scare-a-thon. I think I'm on 15 right now.
Wow.
Well, I started late September. So I have been going through all the classic Universal monster films. I actually imported a Blu-ray box set from the UK that has all the movies for like $25.
Awesome.
So pretty good deal.
So go on then, do as your list, but what was the first one you watched and what was the last one you watched? You're supposed to be
the very first one that I watched to kick everything off was Halloween. Just the original John Carpenter's Halloween. And the last one I watched was American Werewolf in London.
Such a good film.
Yeah, we need to watch that soon.
We literally started ours last weekend where we watched Trick or Treat for the first time.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
with the
a good
kids.
one.
Oh, it was
It was
really
really
good.
good. As
And you know, it's the
at one point.
same
Oh,
guy.
that
I'm pretty sure it's
escalated.
the same guy that went on to do Krampus, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Oh, was it? That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same director.
Yeah, it was really, really good. The Sam character's really cool.
Yeah, a little freaky,
Just a
but
little.
his design is great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially with the little jack-o'-lantern lollipop and everything like
So
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We did watch Scream 4 a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot
I don't
worse
think I've
than
ever
that.
seen Scream 4. I think
It's-
I've only seen the first two.
Don't
It's
bother.
not great. It ties in with the others, but it's not a
Kinda.
great tie-in.
Is Scream 4 the one that did Wes Craven come back for that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
I do want to see The Conjuring 2 at some point. We haven't watched that yet.
No. I need to see Hocus Pocus. I watch that every year.
We have said that we're going to watch the Halloween Horror Nights films from this year. But I think watching The Exorcist with a 12-year-old, I'm not quite sure. It's not so much that it's scary. It's just that bit with the crucifix about halfway through. I'm not sure how she'll take that.
Better to start them early, right?
Well, this year we're actually doing quite a bit, aren't we, Tracy? Because of my other podcast, Frequent Fear, sort of being involved in the scare industry a little bit in this country, we've managed to blag a few tickets for stuff. So we're going over to one near where I normally work in Redcar called Scream Factory.
Looking forward to that.
As we're recording this early, hopefully we'll have been for a little VIP tour around it last Friday, which I've been invited to.
I know it's a little bit of a difference, but have you ever considered going up to one of the Merlin parks and doing like their haunt season?
Do you know,
They're
we've
not that
talked
close though,
about
are
it.
they,
Yeah,
really?
Alton Towers is a good 3.5 drive, and they only have like about 2 or 3 scare zones, 3 or 4 mazes, and that's about it. The one to
I think it's unfair to compare the what is it? Fright Nights at Thorpe?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a little unfair to compare though, because it does have the premier Halloween event, so
I
you
had
take what you can get.
Well, I had considered going down for Fright Nights this year, but I've heard that unless you've got the money to buy Express, and it's a lot more expensive than over here, don't even bother. But it's not like apparently the way Thorpe Park do it is they bring in like big shipping containers, and that's what they use to do the mazes in. Now, in all honesty, we went to ScareCon. Was it last year we went to?
Yes, it was. Didn't get to go to this one this year.
ScareCon, which is like the UK haunt convention, and
It was awesome.
at Thorpe Park they have Saw Alive, and it's not operating now, but they opened it for ScareCon, and we went through that, and it was okay.
The lantern we
The haunted
had
lantern
was
thing was good,
awesome.
but the actual scare, like Saw Alive maze, wasn't great.
No, it was a bit.
And I've talked to a few people who go quite regularly who've said it's good, but it's actually the one I really want to go to is Horror Nights at Europa Park.
Yes.
Europa's an amazing park.
Yes, I really
Yeah.
want to go.
Right, next year.
We'll see. I'd rather go to Florida. But
Now, Disney was actually doing, I know it's a little bit of a ways out, but Disney was actually doing almost like a Halloween Horror Nights light style event a couple of years back. Do you happen to know if they're still doing that?
I don't know.
That was at the Studios Park, if I remember.
Yeah, it was called Terrorific Night. They did
Yeah.
it 2 years. I don't think I think they've only ever done it the twice. And it was kind
Which
of that.
was
It was
2011 and 2012, it looks like.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been editing some of our older shows, and we actually briefly discussed it on, I think it was episode 18, funnily enough. But yeah, we're doing that, and then we're going up to Alnwick Castle's where they filmed the broomstick sequence
Yes.
for
The Quidditch lesson.
Not
Quidditch.
Harry
Yeah, it was
Potter and
flying lesson, wasn't
the
it?
whatever the first one is, the Philosopher's Stone or the
Yes.
Sorcerer's Stone, whichever one you are. And attached to Alnwick Castle is Alnwick Gardens, and they're doing a sort of family-friendly scare attraction thing that night. So we're off up to see that.
It's fancy dress as well. Yay!
I'm not going as fancy dress. I'm going as myself.
Miserable.
And Rem says
Miserable.
he's not getting dressed up.
Miserable pair. Me and Jade have got amazing frocks.
And then about an hour down the road from us, there's York Hallow Scream, which is more a Scream Park type thing. So they have scare zones and 5 mazes and stuff, and that looks pretty cool. So we're going down to that as well. But Like, I love Horror Nights, but the scare industry over here is a lot bigger than we realise. And there are a lot of Tully's Farm. Tully's Farm's the one I want to go to, but it's like 6 hour drive from us.
in Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I interviewed Mark Edwards.
I'd like to do that.
That's supposed to be, but there's only 3 mazes.
It's just a long way to go for.
That's the problem. A lot of the sort of bigger events over here, they aren't that big. They might have 4 or 5 houses, and that's about. I think there's 5 or 6 at York. Will you get a lot of trick-or-treaters around near you then, Hunter, or do you not get that with the kids? Do you decorate?
Oh, yeah, we put up decorations. Like, the whole house is decked out and everything on the interior. We haven't put anything outside yet.
I need to get mine done.
But it's, especially for Kim, holidays are a big thing for her. So absolutely we'll hand out candy and all sorts of stuff this year. And we get plenty of traffic. So
that's good.
That's a good time. I'm not sure if you guys have that tradition as much over there, do you?
We do, but not as much. I think the problem is nowadays everyone's scared to let the kids out now. So you don't get it as much. And kind of where we are is, it's not out of the way, but a lot of the kids who go trick-or-treating tend to stick towards the cul-de-sacs and the housing estates, and we're kind of in between.
But because we are on the main road, really, and we're on the school route, we've got a massive front window, and every year I decorate it.
Awesome.
So everybody knows, really, they should come, because I always have loads of stuff, and I dress up. You usually have a rat sat on my shoulder as well to freak everybody out. And I've been sacked this year. I'm not allowed to take Jade out. She's going by herself.
With her friends, isn't she?
So I'm still going to get dressed up, and I'm going to.
Still going to put the rat on the shoulder.
Absolutely, I'm going to enjoy myself.
No, we have a big thing, at least here in Florida. We have a lot of local haunts, just people putting up stuff in the backyard, or they'll rent out a place. Do you guys have any of that as far as just local stuff, or is it predominantly corporately sponsored or at the theme parks?
Yeah, it tends to be.
It's not as much as you think. Actually, Lee, who I do, I'm going to give it a plug again, my other podcast, Frequent Fear, he has his own scare attraction company, and he's just set up a website with Mikey from Scare Track, another podcast there, another plug for them, called Home Haunt UK, and there's apparently a lot of home haunters in the UK. This is actually one in Northallerton.
There was somebody who did a walk in their backyard a couple of years ago in the village.
There's actually a fairly decent one in Northallerton. I might have to find out where it is.
I want to do one in our house. Michael Roddy said he'd come and work for me.
Yeah,
you remember? Yes.
There's not the corporate ones are really only Alton Towers and Thorpe Park. A lot of the other ones you tend to find over here. There are a lot of farm events, people who have farms that looked a way of supplementing the income throughout the year when crops weren't being harvested and stuff, and that's what they started doing is scare mazes. So you find a lot of them are on farms.
Okay.
But I know we've talked about a lot on the show that the difference between the US and the UK is we tend to do haunts throughout the year rather than it being just around that Halloween time. That people will do Valentine's haunts and Christmas ones and just whenever, there's a lot of, I did an extreme haunt a couple of years, was it last year? Did I go cracked last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was, you wore your costume to
ScareCon. Yeah, it was like the first sort of proper extreme attraction over here. I did that, and that was in April. I know. Hunter, have you heard of Heretic out in California?
The name rings a bell.
Well, the people, Lee,
go on ahead.
Lee, who I do Frequent Fear with, they did Cracked, and they're doing Cracked versus Heretic this year with Adrian Marcotto. Now, I toyed with the idea of doing it, but apparently, like the stuff that Heretic do is very, very intense and extreme. They do a lot of stuff with your breathing, so like simulated suffocation and stuff. So I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think California is kind of like the hotbed for it, but there are like the extreme houses that they do out here, where you have to sign like waivers and everything. It's all a little too much for me personally, and I think for most people.
I know my limit. I like fun scares. I don't want to be traumatized.
Well, we have a couple of friends who went through McCamey Manor.
Yeah.
Now you want to
that's
talk
the one
about
that
extreme?
comes to mind.
Yeah.
I've interviewed Russ McKamey before. Yeah, he's a strange guy. But yeah, there's no
think you
way I
have to
would
be to
go
run
through.
something
There's
like that.
no way I would go through
No.
McKamey Manor.
Do you think, now you said you kind of do haunts year round. Do you think that's just a decidedly English thing? Because you guys have had, the London dungeons and
Yes.
everything for so long, which has kind of had little parts and pieces of that.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it does, like I say, we've discussed it quite a lot on Frequent Fear, that it is very much confined to that. Obviously, the theme parks is like 6 weeks, but for most haunts, it's that 2 or 3 weeks around Halloween.
I suppose when you look at it, though, for a small island, we have a very macabre history.
Oh, yeah.
We do embrace it. I mean, to be honest, if you want to have some good, like Halloween haunty type fun, Edinburgh's your place.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Edinburgh's awesome.
I'm surprised they don't do something in the castle. That would be cool.
I don't know whether they do or they don't. So
there you go. Yeah. So we've got.
When I was living in Germany at the time, they actually did some stuff in the Heidelberg area where they would theme it to like Frankenstein and everything like that. So maybe it's a Germany thing, but they have no problem using these historical sites for a bit of fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, I think they should be. They become more accessible to people as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So that's section 2 done.
That was good.
I think.
I'm excited for Halloween this year.
I love Halloween. I can't wait. Right. Finally, and I'm out of rum. We wanted the opportunity to go outside of our comfort zone. Did we?
Yeah.
Nobody told me.
We just got sick of talking about Universal, so I thought, how can we do this where we get to talk about other stuff? And we've done it a little bit tonight.
We asked our listeners to submit questions for us to answer that are not Universal related. Universal Orlando related. So here goes.
So the first question is from Melanie Brookbank. She says, as we're hitting October here, I'd like to know y'all's favorite horror movies of all time. It is plural, so we're good.
Okay.
Halloween.
Okay.
Classic.
American Werewolf in London, without a doubt.
Yep.
Which is my favorite horror movie, just period. That's my number one.
Yep. Scream. I have to have Scream because I just think it broke the mold for horror films at that time.
My favorite modern horror movie is Cabin in the Woods.
See, we watched that and I think it came in with too much hype that we kind of went, did I miss something
Watch
here?
it again.
I love The Conjuring.
It's such a love letter to the genre as a whole.
Right.
And I just think it's so smart and it's such a good send up of the genre. I'm a really big fan of that movie. Yeah.
My favorite modern ones are Insidious.
Insidious. I was just going to say, I love Insidious.
Those films.
I have to mention Dracula, but Christopher Lee.
Okay.
Because that's my Dracula.
The Hammer film.
Yeah. I was brought up on those. I love them.
I actually watched a classic for the first time recently, a couple months back, and that is Ridley Scott's Alien, the original Alien.
I know, I saw you post that in Real Fans. I cannot believe that now was the first time you'd seen that film.
I know, and especially with as big of a sci-fi person as I am, but that has easily shot its way up into my probably top 30 movies of all time.
Yeah.
And definitely deserves a mention here. I've watched it probably 6-7 times since, and I'm a huge fan of that movie.
I've got to mention The Evil Dead.
Oh God, yeah,
love The Evil Dead.
The first one,
second one,
campy as hell. The second one's awesome, and I
love it.
I don't particularly like the third one. It's like the first
Look
one
forward
was
to the series coming back.
The first one was
I'm an Army of Darkness guy. I think Ash versus Evil Dead is kind of the culmination of everything I like about that franchise.
Can't wait for the next
so
series.
Really, really like Ash versus Evil Dead. It might be my favorite thing in the franchise.
Yeah. Exorcist.
I
like it. I just like your mother's reaction where you just mentioned The Exorcist. Or she hears the music.
My mum went to see it when it came out, and you won't even let you talk about it.
So real quick, what is y'all's favorite slasher character? Who's your favorite slasher villain?
I was always a big Freddy Krueger fan.
Okay.
Michael Myers. Always.
All right. And I'm a Jason guy.
There we go. We cover it all. There we go. That's a triptych.
Cool. All right, next
Freddy
one.
got a little too campy for me later on.
They did, but what I liked about 4 and 5 was that it was like 4 and 5, is it Dream Master and Dream Child?
I don't think I've seen that.
Were 2 films, but it was one coherent story. The 5th one followed on straight after the 4th one. I liked them. But yeah, once you get into 6 and 7, they were a bit crappy.
Yeah.
What were you going to say there, Hunter?
I personally don't remember. Oh, I'm really just with Nightmare. I like the first film. I really like New Nightmare, and that's about it. To be perfectly honest,
I need to watch the new one. Actually, I haven't seen that yet.
That's the one with the guy that played Rorschach, right?
Yeah, I can never remember his name. It's got Haley Summit or other. Summit is double-barreled, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was in the new
Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley. That's the one. Yeah.
I like him as well. Rorschach.
Mm-hmm.
Rorschach is one of my favourite characters committed to film ever.
Actually, Watchmen.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's a rough movie. Like, I turned it on recently.
I love it.
We are totally going off the rails now, but I tried to get through Watchmen, and like, it's just such a cynical movie. Like, it put a bad taste in my mouth.
But that's me. That's what I like.
There's some tough scenes to watch.
This is why I like Batman v Superman and the way all the
gritty.
DC is, because I like Zack Snyder's stuff. But anyway, that's off topic.
Sorry, Melanie.
So, right, so Jim Craig asks the next one. What do you each do for work?
Nothing. As little as possible.
That's not strictly true.
Everything.
I am a dental technician. I make false teeth for a living.
I am a computer repair agent for Geek Squad. So come see me if you have any computer problems. Unless it involves updates.
Yes.
Then I won't be here.
They take too long.
Yes. I've had many incarnations.
What is your official job title at this moment in time? Domestic goddess.
That'll do. Wife, mother, and tea room operator.
Manager.
Manager.
Owner.
Everything. Baker. Head chef. Baker. Cleaner. But before that, I was a dental nurse.
Yeah. We only got 15 minutes. We've got a lot of questions to get through.
Next question. How did you guys meet? Tinder.
Now, does she mean the three of us or me and you?
I swiped right.
I had to do this one quick. Trish and I used to work next door to each other.
Be careful.
She came in. I told one of the lads I fancied. He told her, and then the rest is history.
Well, he came and told my manageress, and they put a note under Lee's car, and the next thing, we're going on a date. And I've not got a shot of him since.
That's so sweet.
As far as...
and
go on, Hunter, you tell
you
yours.
and I, we met on Disboards.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what exactly the post was about.
Trip reports, I think. And then you emailed us about wanting to do a section for the show. And as I say, the rest is history. Then Darren did a trip report. I think he sent us a spew in.
A spew with his knee.
He did a trip report on that. And then he reviewed...
Foot got slashed up.
Yeah. He reviewed Halloween Horror Nights. And then when you started... I think you either got too busy with work or you'd started the college program. We wanted a third.
College program.
Yeah, we realised that it needs a third person.
Yeah,
it does make a big
together.
difference. Not that, as you heard last week, we're not that bad.
Rum, dear. We had a third party.
We'd kind of, because Darren had been on the show 2 or 3 times at that point, we sort of had a rapport with him, and that's how we ended up becoming part of the crew, as it were.
Yeah. So how did you meet Darren?
Through us, obviously.
No, I know, but...
We started talking on the show, and then I'm trying to remember. I think the first time we hung out...
Yeah, it's kind of what I mean. Like,
was it the meet and greet?
No, you'd seen each other before then, surely.
I'm guessing so. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, Darren and I hung out all the time when I was in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
If you could pick an actor to play the role of you in a feature film, who would that actor be?
Right, Jack Black. I would want Jack Black to play me.
That was my answer for me. Lee gave us a heads up on this one. It has been killing me all week. I don't.
I have a feeling I know what Hunter's going to say for himself, and it's wrong. But go on, Hunter.
Oh, no, because I already said it in the group chat. I said, when you posed this question, I said Michael Cera with a beard.
Yeah.
Now, do you know who really should play you, Hunter?
Go on ahead.
Jonah Hill.
Oh.
If you remember back, I think I posted a thing on Facebook. It was probably 6 months ago now of you posing at work, and then Jonah Hill when he had his beard, and I couldn't tell the pair of you apart. I'll repost it somewhere. You do look like you did then.
I like Jonah.
You're not quite as fat as he is, though.
Not quite.
Who's going to play me?
Come on, Mrs.
I don't
Hunter,
know.
who do you think you should
help.
play Tracy?
Who should play Tracy?
She's been at this for a week now, and she can't.
I haven't slept in a week.
How about Gary Busey?
What? Teeth aren't right.
I don't love him anymore. He's evil.
Ellen Page.
Yeah.
Ellen Page?
Yeah.
Oh, she's all
I like Ellen
short
Page.
and quirky. And
Instead of short.
You are?
I am. Definitely quirky.
we need more alcohol.
Always.
Is that how you're going with?
I could live with that.
I like Ellen Page.
I could live with Ellen Page.
It's a shame she swings the other way.
Hey, I didn't like sprouts till I tried them.
And the follow-up question that Jim asks is, and who would play your love interest? Now, this is the one I've struggled on.
I had no worries at all with this one. Jared Butler. Whoa.
I don't
Yes,
honestly.
please.
There's nobody really in sort of film world that I have a real massive crush on at the moment, I'll be honest.
Slight crush?
Not
It's,
really.
If anyone wants my answer, it's Michael Cera without a beard.
You'd be his
It's
beard.
a really weird movie, but it's really about loving yourself, and I think that's what I want to bring to you guys.
Oh my God.
Aw.
Ugh.
You can tell that him and Kim are still in that first flush then, can't
See,
you?
I don't know.
Because I'd ditch you for Jared Butler in a heartbeat.
I could go.
What, Kate Beckinsale?
It's too skinny.
Well, take her out for a few meals. You fattened me up.
But Eva Green was quite nice when we saw
Eva
Miss
Green's
Peregrine's
nice.
thing.
I
She's
liked her
alright.
hair.
I'd go. I can never remember her name. What's her
Actually, I
out
wouldn't
of
mind. I wouldn't mind
Labyrinth
Eva Green
called?
playing me. There you go.
Elizabeth
Out of what?
Labyrinth.
She's not Elizabeth.
The one with Eric
Jennifer
Banner.
Connelly?
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. But like 1990s
80s.
Jennifer Connelly before she lost all the weight because anyway.
Labyrinth, Jennifer Connelly.
No, she was about 14.
Yeah, but you were about the same age at that time.
No. One Wild Night.
You
if
know
anyone
she's
knows-
married to Paul Bettany, right?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Plays Vision.
Yeah.
Tying it all together.
Like mid 90s, early 2000s Angelina Jolie without a doubt.
I was going to pick her to play me, but with recent events. I'm not particularly a fan anymore.
I don't know, like I say, there isn't really. I quite like. It's mostly TV series. I don't know why, because she's not my usual type, but I quite actually like Deborah Ann Wall.
Who?
Out of Daredevil. Karen.
In True Blood.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
really sure why,
Whatever, floaty boat?
but I quite like her.
Okay.
I don't know, there isn't, like I said, there isn't really anybody. Like most people go, yeah, Scarlett Johansson or
Yeah, like I was straight in.
whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Next one. Forbidden Journey or Escape from Gringotts?
Forbidden Journey.
Bid journey.
So this one is from Michael Hillman, specifically for you two. If you could move to Orlando, would you, or would it be too much of a pain to leave home?
I'm already packed.
I'd love to, but
I'd do it, but there's too many hurdles
yeah.
now.
I would love to, but I just
Yeah.
If
It's something we have discussed.
15 years ago, it might have been a bit different,
Yeah.
but now, nah.
And with Raymond being the age he is, he wouldn't get
And Jade
in.
and everything,
And
it's just-
there's now I've got the kids and I'm quite fond of them now. I couldn't leave them behind. Maybe in a couple of years. Yeah. Next one is from Chris Rook. Money, no object. Where in the world would you like to visit and why? All of it and because. I would like to go over Japan and China and Singapore. I'd like to go and explore all of that just because I'm fascinated by the cultures. And
Yeah.
yeah.
If I could spend like 2 months out in the general just Asia area, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to especially see like all the Disney parks, because they've got a lot of really cool stuff out there that we don't have. So I'd love to take a visit to Shanghai, and I'd love to go to Hong Kong, but I'd also like to just explore Japan and do all the do everything else over there. I am very fortunate to have grown up in a military family, so I have been to Europe. I've seen a good chunk of Europe, but really far out east, I haven't had a chance, so I'd love to make it out there.
Yeah. What's it? Machu Picchu's on my bucket list as well. I'd like to do that. But actually, if money was no object, it wouldn't be where in the world, but where out of the world. I would like to go exploring space.
I don't honestly know.
Do that, would you? You don't know? Well,
I'd love to go to New York.
Because I have said to you, as much as I love Orlando, can we please see some other places in the world? And you go, no.
I've never said no. I'd love to go to New York.
We could do that. And then go to Ohio.
I don't know.
You don't know. You've got no burning desire to go and see anything. You don't want to go to see the lakes in Italy or go whale watching in Norway. Go and see the Northern Lights.
Norway.
I would love to go to Norway.
Don't you mean Arendelle?
Or to go to Finland, to Moominland and see Thule.
No. I'd go and stay in that. I'd go and stay in that ice castle thing in
White Castle,
Reykjavik. You know that hotel.
Very
that's sculpted
expensive.
out of ice. Well, exactly. It's money no object.
That's true.
That would be cool. I'd like to go to Alaska. I'd do a cruise. The Alaskan cruise would be cool. Anyway,
if I could do like a year trip around the world, all expense paid on a cruise ship, that'd be good.
Just go everywhere. Money's no object. We'll go everywhere.
So again, money no object, but from a scare your pants off point of view, what would be your best or worst, depending on your point of view, scariest place to spend a night and why?
Clown Factory with balloons.
I would love to go and stay overnight in Alcatraz.
Oh,
actually, there's somewhere I want to go. I want to go to California.
Yes. Ooh, that's.
Alcatraz. I would love to spend a night in Alcatraz. Because if anywhere's haunted, that's got to be.
By yourself.
Yeah.
By yourself. Cool. I don't know.
I'm thinking. I'm not sure.
Because Hunter, you must find stuff like that creepy because you're only just coming round to safe scares, let alone arguably real ones.
I don't know. Like, maybe, especially as a kid, it used to freak me out, but like the Black Forest in Germany.
Right.
Just because
he's going the same
there's something very ethereal about forests, Obviously, there's like the Forbidden Forest and everything in Harry Potter, but like, I don't really believe in paranormal, but I absolutely believe that there's wildlife and creatures that we haven't discovered yet. And some of that could be pretty terrifying depending on what it is. So maybe like a deep dark forest.
Yeah, this is where I was going to go because you're in a little tent or in a hammock strung up in the trees and you hear branches cracking or a wolf howl and there's bears and wild boar and stuff like that. That could be terrifying.
Yeah, like I guess my worst fear, like I'm not scared of zombies, I'm not really scared of vampires, but like imagine being like trapped in a forest and being like stalked by like a werewolf or something like that. Not that I believe in werewolves, but just as an example.
Or just a human.
That's probably the freakiest thing that I could think of.
Just getting stalked by a human.
Yeah, Leatherface.
Because let's face it, we are probably the most terrifying thing on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually think that real life would probably be the scariest thing. So I would go with that.
Oh,
a night
I don't know. Have you seen an anglerfish?
Yes, I have.
Those things are pretty scary.
They're pretty awesome.
So at Amity6Tyler on Twitter
wonder who that is.
What is your favourite band stroke artist?
Ooh.
System of a Down are my favourite, but I'm enjoying a bit of Five Finger Death Punch at the moment.
Well, at the moment it's still Fall Out Boy, but Five Finger Death Punch. I have just somebody pumped me. I've just discovered, so Yeah.
And this is where everybody makes fun of me for just talking about bands that nobody knows about. My favorite band is a smaller indie band called Say Anything.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly their first 2 albums. They're not really that well known, but there's a lot of really good lyrical material in there that I've attached to. But I guess probably my favorite band is a band called The Ghost Inside, which is like a metallic hardcore band. If you've ever gone to a meet and greet or if we've ever hung out, I do have a Ghost Inside tattoo on my leg that's quite big. So
yeah,
I guess I'll have to go with them.
Awesome. Right, Jennifer Fox asks, what's your preference, Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Now, if it's bog
If
standard,
you give me the choice, I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. But between these two, it's Coke.
If it's bog standard Coke and not vanilla or cherry, I'd go Pepsi. No, actually, Pepsi. No, Pepsi. The question is Coke or Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Not Pepsi Max.
No, Pepsi.
I would actually go Coke.
And I can tell the difference. I do not like Coke.
Normal Pepsi is horrible.
Pepsi is great.
Yeah.
No. Pepsi Max is nice. Pepsi is horrible.
Pepsi's fine. I don't like Coke. I'm not like Coke.
I know you don't.
No.
Because you kicked off at the pictures at the weekend.
It drives me mad. Give people choices.
Sandals or flip-flops. I'm a flip-flop guy. You give me the choice, I'm just going to wear flip-flops. Never wear flip-flops to the park, because one time I was out at Magic Kingdom at Epcot for 12 hours and I wore flip-flops, and my ankle was so screwed up by the end of that day. I hobbled back to the monorail. So just like lounging around the house or going outside, flip-flops.
Sandals, but I like my foot strapped in, but preferably trainers.
I would wear neither, but given the choice, it'd be sandals. I can't imagine having to grip that bloody toe thing for any length of time.
If I wear mules, I get blisters on the soles of my feet. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Zach Rambaud, or Baud, however you want to pronounce it, says, typical lame question, favourite all-time movie? RoboCop, the original.
Jaws. I can't believe I suddenly thought about that, Jaws.
So favorite movie for me is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, we know that.
Favorite classic movie is The Blues Brothers. The movie I've watched the most is probably the original Toy Story, though.
Really? That's one and the same. The movie I've watched the most times is RoboCop. I lost count at 60. I love that film and I can still watch it today and get a lot out of it.
My most watch is probably either the original Star Wars trilogy, because I always watched all 3 at once, or The Goonies. So, Bar Diva or Deva. Sorry, Bar. I know we're friends on Facebook, but I don't know how to pronounce your surname. But hello. Are you all happy Stitch is rumoured to close?
Not really bothered.
I adore Stitch, but yes.
I don't mind. It's not a bad attraction.
It wasn't what it was supposed to be.
No, and Tomorrowland is probably, to be perfectly honest, one of my least favorite Disneylands, just because it's such a weird mishmash. Like, it has no coherent theme anymore. So with that Wreck-It Ralph VR attraction that's going in there, that sounds interesting, but I'm gonna have to see how it turns out first. It's still a weird concept that they're putting Wreck-It Ralph into Tomorrowland, but
I'm not bothered either way, honestly.
You'd like to see the incarnation beforehand.
Yeah, I'd rather see Alien Encounter.
Yeah. I mean, I love
which the original concept for that one was the Xenomorph from Alien. So sad we never get to see that. But I will say this, though, Stitch himself is one of the most impressive audio animatronics I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
So Paul Rankin says, do any of you have any love for Disney, or is it only Universal?
Of course we do.
You know better, buddy.
Yeah, we do. I didn't.
We prefer Universal, but yes, we do. And we needed that break to appreciate it again.
There's a reason Hunter worked in the park, but yeah, we did need that break to make us want. The absence makes the heart grow fonder.
We're really looking forward to going back.
Yes.
My favorite theme park thing ever is still the Haunted Mansion. So
I love the Haunted Mansion.
I'll always say that.
Yeah.
Right.
And pirates.
Adam Santino says, if you were stuck on an island, which of you gets eaten first and why?
Not me, because I punch the hardest.
Stop crying.
Oh, I'd fight you, Hunter, son. So I think it'd be an interesting one. Darren, because he's not here.
Yeah.
Too much hair. Too much work.
You haven't seen me, have you?
I
don't know. That's a tough question.
I
don't know.
Yeah. Probably me, because I bitch and moan so much. You'd want to just shut me up. You'd stomp my head in with a rock.
All three of us.
Maureen Rodeel. Hello, Maureen. Have you read all the Harry Potter books? And if so, how many times? Plus, who's your favourite Harry Potter character? And why is it Neville?
It's not Neville, actually.
Because he Neville Longbottomed.
Anyway.
Yes, we have.
I've read all of them at least 3 times.
I've read the entire series, I think 7 times.
Wow.
Jesus.
I think I've read...
And that's the entire series. Now, keep in mind, that's... No offense to anybody else, but that is my generation. I grew up as those books were coming out. Yeah. So every time a new book was coming out, I would...
reread.
Okay, Order of the Phoenix is coming out. I'll read everything up coming into Order of the Phoenix.
Well, that's what we did.
Blood Prince is coming out. Everything coming out up to then. But 7 times all the way through, not counting individual rereads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's twice for me.
Yeah.
Favourite Harry Potter character right from the get-go was Snape.
Hunter?
Yeah, I'm a Luna Lovegood guy.
Well, you and Raymond make good friends.
Yeah.
I'm a Gilderoy Lockhart, I'm afraid.
Oh, you always have been.
Awesome. I love him. And like when Lon dresses up as him, he's perfect at him. Yeah. But yes, and I think it was inspired casting. Can't think of his name.
I will say this
Branagh.
real quick, Maureen. Neville is probably the character I relate to most myself.
Yeah. He's an awesome character.
Thomas Brino says, when walking around theme parks, do you ever listen to your own music instead of the park music? If so, what do you listen to?
No. Why would you?
I don't listen to it in the park. However, I have turned on custom soundtracks while riding roller coasters. Cool. I don't think I've ever done it at Universal, but at Disney, I'm a big fan of playing like Green Hill Zone from the original Sonic while riding Space Mountain. I think there's a lot of fun little mix-ups that you can do there.
All right.
No,
I would never consider. I suppose because we're going as a family as well.
I wouldn't anyway. And it's like I hate when you see people with kids in the park with headphones in. It drives you up the wall.
Yeah, never in the park because, I guess it's a little bit different because we are all theme park people, but I have a lot of respect for the composers who do park music.
Yeah.
And, music is probably the most important thing to me personally as far as theming. So, I do take special note of that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Kelsey May asks, what are some must-see attractions in Orlando outside of the theme parks? Just do a quick, all of them. Disney.
I haven't done it, but the Orlando Eye looks awesome.
Yeah.
I want to check that out.
Ripley's, believe it or not, awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderworks.
I realized what I was going to say.
Super cool.
Pirates golfing.
Or any of the mini golfs.
Any of the mini golfs.
They're
cool. All really cool. I know it's not Orlando Central per se, but Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's one of my favourite places to go.
Busch is definitely worth a visit if you're going to do that. Orlando, I think.
I like SeaWorld.
Yeah, I still like SeaWorld.
I'm waiting for the hate there.
No, I like SeaWorld.
Well, SeaWorld's it looks in really rough shape right now.
Right.
But Busch Gardens, love Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is great.
Yeah. Last time we did Busch Gardens, funnily enough, was with Darren.
Yeah.
It was the first time we met him. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was.
It was?
Yeah.
Can't think of anything else.
There's loads of new stuff. There's like the Madame Tussauds and all the stuff, and I Drive 360 and all of that. But we don't really actually do a lot other than sort of the major theme parks, really, do we? Which is sad, I suppose.
Dave and Buster's, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dave and Buster's is cool. Mm. If you like arcade games, anyways.
Old Town's worth a jaunt.
Yeah. And
Shallow Grave.
Yeah. Right. Why is Hunter on the UUO podcast if he loves Disney so much? We ask ourselves every day.
Because we didn't find out how much he loved it until he'd already got his feet under the table.
Because we love
Kelsey
him.
already answered this one on the Facebook page, but kind of like what was alluded to earlier, I am a ex-cast member, Disney College program, and Disney is what really gave me my affection for theme parks as a whole. So I know we pick a lot of fun at them, but I do really like the parks. I do prefer, honestly, Disney a little bit more, but I still try to make it out to both evenly, and I like them for different things.
Yeah.
Have Tracy and Lee been to the studio tour for Harry Potter in London?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
We spent 7.5 hours in there.
And could have stayed longer.
Have you seen or plan to see The Cursed Child?
She's in bed.
No, we haven't, but I do want to read it.
Hunter put me off.
Heartbreak.
I don't care. I still want to read it. I haven't got the time to read at the moment. I'm still 2/3.
I've completely blocked it out of my mind.
No, I definitely want to read it.
I'd like to see it because I think it'll be better as the stage show.
She also asked, where are your other favourite vacation spots besides Orlando? I like Cyprus.
Tampa, Kissimmee, Lake Buena Vista.
There's only really Cyprus, but I've got lots of other places I want to go to.
I enjoyed Egypt.
Egypt was nice, but it's not safe at the moment.
No.
I know it's a stereotypical answer, but I think any theme park person should make it out to Anaheim and visit Disneyland at some point because, that's really what kicked everything off, and there's a lot of really cool stuff out there.
Yeah. I'd like to go back to Germany. I like Germany. Andy de Metelair, who is your favourite Belgian listener?
I think it must be you, Andy, because we only got one.
I think it must definitely be Andy. Yes. What do you think, Hunter?
I'm thinking Andy. I think Andy is my favorite Belgian listener.
Yeah, it's just a shame he was born in the wrong country. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I really like your waffles, though, Andy.
And your chocolate.
Who was your favorite 80s, 90s, 2000s wrestler?
You see, this is different for us.
I didn't really have. No, it isn't. You're still talking WWF.
No, I'm
no, you're not going to say
Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks.
No one even knows what you're talking about.
They're my wrestlers.
I didn't really have one. I watched it, but I wasn't that bothered.
I wasn't a wrestler guy, but growing up, a lot of friends had the WrestleMania games for the Nintendo 64, which was a lot of fun, and I always played as Stone Cold Steve Austin, so I guess that's my vote.
There you go.
Probably The Rock, actually.
Yeah.
I don't mind The Rock now.
What horror movie would you love to reenact, and with whom and why?
Oh, I know which one. I wish we could reenact y'all's experience at Calfish, but with me there.
You really don't.
No, you don't. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Any horror movie with Jared Butler, and
my head's hurting. I can't even think about that one.
Probably a Dracula.
Movie. No.
Probably a Dracula movie for me. Because even though I'm a zombie fan, the traditional Dracula ones are the ones that always stuck with me.
I don't honestly know. It's a toughie.
And probably with Christopher Lee because, as I say, my favourite Dracula. Because he's awesome.
All the horror movies I think of in sadly, like what character am I? Am I a villager that wants to burn Frankenstein? Am I the werewolf who gets shot at the end of American Werewolf in London? I don't know.
What does the rest think who Lee's favourite Disney character is? I know who your favourite Disney character is.
Go on then.
Robin Hood.
No.
You've been lying to me all these
No, that's
years.
my favourite film.
Your favourite
Is
Disney
it animated
character?
or live action?
Oh, a Disney character I would always think was animated anyway.
Oh, I'm stuck now.
Mike Wazowski.
Nope.
That's more Pixar.
Are we talking
anyway.
classic or modern?
Classic.
Dopey.
No.
Bambi.
No. Bambi.
Well, you're a soft.
Oi, I've got to bleep that. Hurry up. We've got
Captain
another
Hook.
50 questions yet. No.
Peter Pan.
No.
Jiminy Cricket.
No. We're going to be here all day.
Who?
Goofy.
Your spirit animal.
What is the weirdest thing anybody's ever asked you?
I deny everything.
I have no idea.
Has anyone ever asked you if you actually cried at the pretzel stand?
No. And I didn't.
Oh,
it was just a fake picture.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think. I'm sure I could think of something if I thought about it, but...
Probably the weirdest thing that anybody's ever asked me was, are you Tracy from the UUOP? Because I freaked.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was weird.
I honestly don't know.
No.
Right, Jessica Edwards asks, money no object, would you change careers? And if so, what would you do? In other words, what career would you choose simply for the love of it? And you're listening to it. this.
Write novels.
Yeah, if I could get paid to podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the idea of voice acting. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would have to put a lot of practice into it.
Yeah, just acting. I wouldn't mind being an actor. I think I can
Pretend for a living.
An arse.
Yeah,
and get
you might
paid
get paid for it. You do it every day.
I kind of do it all the time, a lot of the time anyway. So I it would be fun.
For me, I love telling stories. So say for instance, if I could get paid to do what Kevin Smith does, just walk around and talk. Yeah, I could do that.
So I can write them and you two can act them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Done deal. Gary Slater. Who has the better beard, Darren or that Florida guy? Actually,
Gary, Darren. You get my vote, Gary.
No, I'm giving it to Darren.
I don't know.
Darren, sorry, Darren.
Danny Stockdale says. Oh.
No, I said I'm stepping away from that.
Danny Stockdale says, what is your favorite attraction at the Holy Land experience?
I've never been.
Never been. I'd probably set on fire.
I've actually been to the Holy Land experience.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And they have a really cool Bible exhibit there. So if you like old books, that's cool.
Ron A. Vyskowski says, would you rather be completely invisible for one day or be able to fly for one day? Invisible.
I feel invisible a lot of the time, so I'm scared of heights.
Hunter?
I don't know. Invisible means you'd have to be naked.
I don't have to fly high. Maybe I could fly at a medium height. I think I'm going to go with flying because being invisible for a day is not really a benefit to me, unfortunately.
I'm thinking if you're invisible, you are going to spend more time stepping out of the way of people.
So flying, you just go where you want to go.
Maybe just above head height. Well, no, because
more of a float or a hover.
That's boring.
I could spit in people's heads.
Yeah, but they'd see you do it and then punch your face in.
They can't reach you if you're just high enough.
You're only getting it for one day, or they know.
Lee, you could spend an entire day at Universal without any blisters or foot issues.
Yeah, I'm not bothered. I'd rather be invisible. I wouldn't have to queue.
Oh, yeah? Go into the back entrance.
Ooh.
Why did those lift restraints lower themselves?
Yeah. Because the ghost host.
David Fuller, if you were trapped in an island and only take one movie with you, what would it be?
Because that's a different question from what's your favourite movie. A film that you can watch over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Well, I personally think that something like Bear Grylls Survival would be a good one to take with you.
That's not a movie.
Castaway.
I would probably take my most watched movie, which is Toy Story, because I don't get tired of it.
Titanic.
I don't know. I suppose I probably would say RoboCop because I've watched it 60 times.
Island
I could probably watch it more. Will you shut up?
Yeah.
The Beach.
Jaws? I'd never get rescued because I'd never go back in the water.
Next one.
Courtney Crump says, if you could have any animal as a pet and have none of the downside, like it could eat you, what would you like?
Lee won't let me have one, but I've always wanted a giraffe.
Okay.
He's so
mean.
Donkey. Or a donkey. Or a white rhino.
I'm quite happy with dogs.
I already have an ass.
Oh,
hey!
Burn.
Its name is Lee.
Hey!
Oh. Honestly, I don't really want it as a pet, but if I could visit at any time, I really want to spend some time with a giant panda.
Yeah.
I really want to hold and cuddle a giant panda. So, yeah.
They're gorgeous.
Darren Brown says, if you weren't podcasting, what would you do with the extra time in your week?
Sleep.
Yeah, I knew I was going to say that. Read and play video games. Sleep, read, and play video games is probably what I'd do with mine.
Laundry, housework.
And just stop podcasting.
Yeah, I'd probably just podcast either on my own thing or get someone else to have me on their podcast.
I would write.
Can't imagine being without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd write more.
I know, we were talking about it the other day, weren't we? It's like, what the hell did we do with our time when we weren't doing this?
Well, I think of the extra stuff since we started that we're doing as well as all of that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mental.
Brianna Smith.
It might be a little bit different, but say, for instance, like, instead of needing more time for video games, I'm usually up till like 3 a.m. anyways, and that's when I do that, so.
Who needs sleep?
Who needs it?
Yes. Brianna Smith, what are your hobbies even, and what do you like to do when not thinking about Universal? Read, write, crochet, bake cakes.
I work, walk the dog, and sleep, and watch odd bits of TV and try and play on
to watch movies.
PlayStation. Yeah. Watch football. I like
to admire my cat.
I like to support my local team. I go to watch Dartmouth Football Club play quite a lot. I'll read when I can.
I play a couple of instruments, so I like to, when I get a chance, sit down with those and write songs and do stuff. I don't play with a group anymore, but it's a nice relaxation thing.
Yeah.
So this one's from Michelle Fletcher. What are your favorite Netflix binge shows?
Lee doesn't let us binge. Lee likes to eke things out.
Because we don't have the time.
I like to binge.
No, we don't have the time.
I binged.
Orange is the New Black. We tend to binge when that comes out.
I like that.
We pretty much binged Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. I binged Grace and Frankie, second series. I watched it in a day. I love that.
We binge watched the first season of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
That.
We did visit the second season, which I honestly didn't like nearly as much, but yeah, Kimmy Schmidt, that was a good pick.
Yeah. We could have binged Stranger Things.
Well, yeah.
We kind of did.
We kind of did.
A slow binge.
Yeah, a slow binge. Our binges take, of course, over a few days, which for us is...
Yeah, rather than it being a weekly viewing.
Yeah.
I'm more of a movie person. I would rather sit down and have a 2.5 hour experience than watch episodes of a TV show all day.
See, I'm getting away from that now. I always was a movie fan, and with the way TV is now, I would much rather watch a TV series.
But by the time we get settled down, kids in bed and everything, we don't have time to binge anything, do we?
You watch some, it's half an hour, and then you'll watch whatever. Like we'll watch an episode. Like last night, we watched an episode of Space. We watched an episode of Bad Education, and then we watched episode 2 of Luke Cage, and that's
usually one of us falls asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's from Cleo, and they ask, "Who's your favorite blogger? Is it Derek Bergen?"
No. Tell you what, it did make me laugh though when we watched that trailer for Trolls that the evil things in Trolls are called Bergens.
Did you ask for the Bergen upgrade?
No.
Fruit baskets for everyone.
He did send us a nice little thing from when we stayed at the Royal Pacific. Bless him. I need to get hold of him because he's supposed to be part of something I'm working on.
Quite honestly, at the moment, I'm not following any blogs. I don't have the time to keep up with stuff like that. I'm only just getting back into listening to podcasts.
It probably is Derek. Actually, Derek's hilarious.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I don't want to toot our own horn too much, but the team that we have on the website are awesome. So please go check out their articles because they're constantly posting good material.
Jim is hilarious, and Leo's
Jim
got his.
I'm forgetting about. See, I haven't read any of our blogs for a while. I really need to catch up.
We're adding 2 more soon. Actually, when this goes out, they might already have started. Right, I know Todd, who was on Q&A's, writing some stuff, and then Danielle and Shelley are going to be writing some stuff for us. So we have added some new ones on there.
Cool.
This could be an interesting one. Do you have any podcast recommendations for when we're between episodes?
Do they have to be related to Universal?
No.
Mysterious Universe.
Oh,
I'm completely obsessed with Mysterious Universe. And the fact that it's a pair of Aussies.
Basically talk about all this random like Men in Black encounters and Yetis and all this. It's hilarious. It's really interesting, but really funny.
Oh yeah, they take it seriously and then they don't.
I mean, let's rattle out the obvious. Real fans.
Yeah.
All the ones.
Well, one is posted once a month now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Holy Batcast. Real fans. Taking the Bullet. All them ones.
Jurassic Park podcast.
Yeah. Diz After Dark.
I'm a big fan of the Disney Dish with Jim Hill, and also the Retro Disney World podcast, which essentially covers the 70s and early 80s of Walt Disney World. So if you're interested in that, check it out.
Anything Ghost?
I knew you were going to say
Love
that.
Anything Ghost.
Still a big fan of Hollywood Babylon, Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman.
Welcome to Night Vale.
I do a lot of video game podcasts. I'm an Xbox guy, so IGN, like Podcast Unlocked. I've been listening to Scare Zone and Extended Q.
Yes, Extended Q. They're on a bit of a break though, aren't they? Bless them.
Not many people will know who I'm talking about, but the Living Army podcast.
All right.
Or part of
if you're into
books.
sort of audio theatre and zombies, We're Alive is an awesome...
Oh, it is. Yes, I was going to come to that one.
Audio story podcast. I love it. They've actually just announced in this last week that they're going to be doing another mini-series soon. That's awesome.
If you're into pop culture and you don't mind really crude and long podcasts with a lot of language, I'm a big fan of a podcast called Pop Culture Leftovers lately that you guys can check out.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And those are usually 3 or 4 hours long. So I usually go
Wow.
through that in the span of 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something to get you through the week, check them out.
Yeah, if you're into 80s movies, Chips, Dips and Dorks is definitely worth it.
Forgot about
A shot. That is, anyone who listens to Coaster Radio will know Mike's part of Chips, Dips and Dorks. That is awesome.
Did you ever listen to Radio Harambe? Those are good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Catacombs of Halloween Horror Nights.
Neo Zaz.
Yes. Have you ever listened to How Did This Get Made?
No.
Really funny. They just talk about movies and stuff like how did this happen? I think the most recent episode I listened to was about Gods of Egypt and just how it was a total cluster failure.
Nice turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Can I just mention Dead Man's Digest?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's on our feed.
It's still
not this podcast, though.
No, this is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think everybody's downloading that one on our feed.
I hope so.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome.
There you go. That's enough suggestions there, I think.
I would think so. So, that'll do it for episode 218. It's been an epic journey. Lots of revelations. Hope you've enjoyed it. So for Lee, Hunter, and myself, Tracy, and all the lovely question people, this has been the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
That's it for another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. And finally, our sponsors, Fairy Godmother Travel, are here to help with all your Universal vacation needs. So check them out today at fairygodmothertravel.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.